Sweet picks. Full crit chance Nasus. Hi, I'm Bloody Maniac, and I'm about to tell you why full crit chance Nasus is extremely fun. This series is dedicated to fun and unusual builds on the champions we play and enjoy every day. Nasus, the critter of the sands. Now, Nasus can be played in a lot of different ways. As an example, we have got the full lifesteal, the AP, the hybrid, or just the most common, the full tank. The thing that most people don't realize is that full crit Nasus, albeit really fun, actually is really strong. Now, you might be thinking, but Nasus with crit isn't all that strong, right? Well, I'll tell you that the thing most people don't realize is that Nasus Q can actually crit. Just a Nasus with about 400 stacks or more can totally delete any squish you carry from the face of this earth. But enough rambling, let's go through the passive and abilities. Nasus' passive is Soul Eater. This must be one of the most basic passive in the whole game, since it's just that Nasus has a native lifesteal. It gradually increases throughout the game, with 10 in early game, 15% mid game and about 20% in late game. Nothing more to it. That's literally it. It might be very basic, but gives him great sustain. Secondly, Nasus Q, Siphoning Strike. This is an auto attack enhancement. Nasus' next auto attack within 10 seconds will deal physical damage as well as the amount of stacks you have. When it comes to the stacks, if Nasus kills a unit with his Q active, he'll gain stacks. 3 for small creeps and minions and 6 for champions, super minions and large monsters. He can actually stack on anything that can be killed in the game. Wards, turrets, Heimer turrets, sack, passive, dragon, baron. Anything. The thing with Nasus Q is that it is an auto attack improver. And this means that you can still crit as it counts as an auto attack. You are going to max this first. It also procs on-hit effects like Sheen, Frozen Mallet or even Rage Blade. Why you would have a Rage Blade on crit Nasus is beyond me though. Moving on to his W, Wither. Wither is lock on slow, even though it might feel more like a root or snap. This is one of the strongest slows in the game and it lasts for 5 seconds. The slow target also get their auto attack speed halved. Prepare to be halted into a crawl when you're hit by this. The short cooldown on the incredible slow makes him a nightmare for any AD attack based champion. You won't catch up to him, you won't outrun him, and you won't be able to kill him quickly enough. I recommend that you take this second and max it alongside his E, Spirit Fire. Nasus puts down a circle around the target location. The circle lasts for 5 seconds and deals magic damage to whoever is standing inside it. Enemies struck also have their armor reduced. 2 important things to remember about this ability is that if you put it down, then your next Q or out attack will deal more damage because of the reduced armor. And don't forget that the first tick will deal extra damage, so if you want to harass your opponent in the lane, you can always put down the circle under them. Be careful though, as it leans on the expensive side of mana costs. And finally, his ultimate, Fury of the Sands. When Nasus activates this ability, he grows. For the next 15 seconds he gains extra health, becomes bigger and gains 50 extra range on his auto attacks. Nasus also deals magic damage to the enemy standing near him each second. He also gets bonus attack damage equal to 6.375% of his damage dealt during the duration of the ultimate. But he can't get more than 300 bonus AD though. Still, that's quite a lot. Now, his ultimate shall be used when you engage or if you're close to death. The extra health from this ability can save your life. It's enough to shake off any cheeky ignite or similar like a wet dog. I also recommend Funlord's Decree. The reason that I go with Funlord's Decree instead of Bloodlust is because it can give you the extra lane harass. An enemy standing inside your E or being hit by your Q or even being damaged by your ultimate might get a Funlord's proc. If you manage to time your Funlord's proc with your Q, that's a whole lot of damage. But now for the interesting part of the video. The build. I usually rush a Trinity Force by first building a Sheen and then going for boots. Frozen Mallet is the next item I recommend you to get. The slow on top of your slow is really good and a bit of tankiness is nice, even on crit Nasus. After that I'll rush an Infinite Edge. It's quite self-explanatory really. extra crit damage to be able to crit your enemy into the nth dimension. The next item I want to get is a Phantom Dancer. You can take Rapid Fire Cannon if you want, but I just prefer the Phantom Dancer. The crit chance and the movement speed is really nice, and the attack speed is also useful. Even your normal non-Q basic attacks deal a lot of damage. And lastly, some kind of tank item to round it off. It can be something like a Guardian Angel, Spirit Visage, Warmogs, Deadman's Plate, Banshee's Veil, Random Summon, you name it. Just take the item you need for your specific matchup. Now, if you need to be a bit more tanky than this build will make you, you can always change your boots or the Frozen Mallet to the tank item you need. But lastly, I will leave you by naming the 5 most important things to remember while playing Nasus. Number 1. Remember that your E shreds a good bit of armor and leaves your opponent close to butt naked. Number 2. Nasus' early game is one of the weakest, and I recommend that you play safe early game and wait for them to engage on you under the tower. When they inevitably dive you, just slow them enough to deter it to be able to kill them. And trust me, they will dive you. Somehow they can't stand the vision of the Nasus under the tower. Number 3. Nasus will, if he gets the opportunity, benefit more from pushing a side lane rather than fighting. So if given the chance to push top or bot instead of fighting, you take the chance. But don't be a douche if your team needs you to help them. Remember, not everyone is playing the ancient Egyptian god of death. Number 4. No matter what you are killing or destroying, you can always get a stack. So if possible, you want to wait until your Q is up. Number 5. And to the last thing you will ever have to remember, if anyone is complaining about the amount of stacks you have, just mute them and stack as well as you can. Depending on how used you are to playing Nasus and who you are facing in lane, the stack amount will be different. As an example, I remember when my good friend Sir Goodbar first played Nasus. He had 3 stacks after 20 minutes. Needless to say, he was completely useless that game. But now, he's a Nasus main and one of the best Nasus players I know. So take these tips to heart and stay bloody, my friends.